Nobody wins when the family feels.
They already had his funeral early today. This at the repast. They was walking in and they shot the repast up. They seen Lolo walking in the door and shot it up. They shot the repast up. They seen Lolo walking in the repast and they shot it up.
We must hate repass.
Had to take over the globe. Alabama, we scrap with them hammers, me and Landlord low.
Jump up out of copies, we get headshots. Riding with these switches, I get caught going to the feds now.
At a community center in Brighton today.
Yeah, our crews are all over the scene for you right now. WVTM.
There was reports of 2 people shot, and when deputies got here, they found 2 adult men who had been shot and killed. And right now, there are no suspects who are in custody, and they don't have anyone who's a person of interest at this point either. Now, we did talk to Councilman Jerome McMullen earlier today, and he shared us this surveillance video, and this is something that you're only going to see on WVTM 13. As you can see on your screen, it looks what is the suspect who was running away from the scene of the shooting and getting into a car after those shots were fired.
So really, I want to focus on more making my community healthy.
Do you believe releasing that video to the media was in the public interest? If so, why or why not?
I released the video because
Fam, at this point, it's probably safe to say that everything comes with a motive. Let's be real. Humans tend to act with intent, whether to achieve a goal, fulfill a desire, or avoid discomfort. Well, 6 months after a double murder in Brighton, Alabama, that involved a local rapper who the family TV interviewed 2 months prior to his demise, a local councilman has been charged with 2 misdemeanors, charging him with tampering of evidence from a video that was released by him and even being played via social media. Nonetheless, just like Landlord Lo, the rapper who unfortunately lost his life, may he rest in peace, the family TV was able to speak to the councilman. He'll later explain how this video got out, who he sent it to, when, and how he was privileged to this video. But the main question most of us will have for this video was, what was the true motive? I mean, we all have one, right? Hopefully, by the end of this video, he will explain his motive and why, and if he felt he broke any laws. But it's also important to look at every angle of this story. Why would the police department charge him 6 months later? Not to mention, why would the police department who didn't solve this case charge him 6 months later with tampering with evidence if the perpetrators was arrested 48 hours later? It's a lot of funny business going on. I'm here to present the facts and be as thorough as possible while letting you guys come up with the conclusion. Now, I'll make sure I leave the link for the Landlord Lo interview and how he lost his life in the bio. I'm going to briefly guide you guys to why this councilman is speaking with the family TV 6 months after Landlord Lo had lost his life. But I want to also point out one thing. This is an open investigation. And because of that, though they reached out, I didn't want to ask any questions after doing more research. I wanted to give this man an open floor, and I told him after the election and the conclusion of his case, we'll have a follow-up interview for part 2. The last thing I will want the family TV to be associated with is having an interview that can help in an investigation in a small town with just 3,000 as the population. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. First reported by Carol Robinson at AL.com, the Brighton City Councilman was under arrest after accused of leaking a video of a double murder to some news media outlets in the middle of the investigation. His name was Jerome Edward McMullen, 54 years old, and charged with obstruction of governmental operations and tampering with physical evidence. On the first week of June in 2025, he was booked into the Jefferson County Jail at around 10:04 a.m. He was later released at 11:37 a.m. after posting a $2,000 bond. McMullen has retained an attorney, Emery Anthony. Now, the video that was released to the media was a footage of a deadly shooting that happened Friday, December 13th, 2024. During a funeral repast of a local rapper named Landlord Lo. The repast was for his uncle.
Pay a fee, BDK. First question when I made bun. What my sack and my Drake?
Up and give me a chance to take over the globe. Alabama, we scrap with them hammers, me and Landlord Lo.
Jump up out the car and I get leg shots. Anytime we jump up out the car, bitch, we get headshots.
Woo and shit, man. Lolo, you next, boy. On God, you is. Don't nobody care nothing about what's going on this internet. D'Angelo, you are next.
Now, this incident took place at Brighton Community Center, which is key on how this councilman was able to release this video. But authorities were called to the center, 3810 7th Avenue, shortly before 2:30 p.m. that Friday. A guy named James David Abercrombie III, 27 years old, a Fairfield man who just got out of prison October 2024, was charged with the capital murder and the shooting death of D'Angelo Lamarcus Samuels, also known as the rapper Landlord, who was 27 years old at the time, and a guy named Roderick Hall, 38 years old, who, check this out, fam, was the shooter uncle. You heard this right. This man killed his uncle just to get to this rapper. He definitely knew him. Landlord Lowe and his brother and Roderick were standing just outside the front door when the shooting happened. Landlord Lowe and Roderick was pronounced deceased. On the scene, Landlord Lowe's brother managed to get away. Video of the killing was quickly leaked and showed the suspect shooting the victim from just feet away before running through the community center parking lot, still armed with a rifle. According to AL.com, charging documents against McMullen stated he illegally made a video of a double homicide taken from a security camera at the City of Brighton Senior Citizen Center on his personal cell phone and released it to the news media while during an active investigation inside a taped-off crime scene. Now you know the backstory. Check out the interview.
Welcome to the Family TV. Who we have a privilege for speaking with today?
Jerome McMullen, Councilman Jerome McMullen.
Ms. McMullen, I appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with us. Unfortunately, you was accused of tampering allegedly with evidence in the case of the rapper Landlord Lowe homicide case. We did that video. I'll leave the link in the bio for those who didn't check it out. First and foremost, before we even get to all that, can you give the audience a brief introduction on who you are and how you became councilman?
Well, my name is Jerome McMullen. I became a part of the council when young lady, she had missed more than the allotted time. And so they ended up voting her out. She had an illness. And so I ended up putting in for the position, and they chose me over about 3 other people to finish out her term.
What year was this?
It's about 2 years ago.
And how has it been since then?
I tell you, we're a small city, a struggling city. And one of my things is trying to make it better than what it was when I came. And it has been an uphill fight on some things. And so that's where I'm at. Right now it's re-election now. It's re-election now. On August 26th, we'll be going to the polls. And as of right now, I don't have anyone running against me, but we'll see.
Just to give the audience who's not from there context of what we're working with when it comes to your town, I say roughly about the population is less than 5,000?
Yes.
It could be like 5 towns within the span of 5 miles?
Yes, that's right.
How is that vice versa than stepping into a big city with a larger population?
Oh, it's a big difference. As a city councilman or either the mayor in a small city like Brighton that serve 5,000 or less, we are considered a municipality of class 8. And so we don't even follow the same guidelines as someone like the city of Birmingham. They run in districts and we run in places.
Okay.
So, but we so small to where we doesn't have secretaries and stuff like that, that work with our council. So we have to do everything in a small city.
Knowing that, how do you feel that translates to justice and corruption, vice versa than a place like Birmingham where a larger population and I can assume in more district attorneys, more judges? How do you feel the justice is still equally?
Yes, I think justice is equal out there as well. But when you talk about a small city like that, and when you don't have a dedicated police, chief of police, or either a dedicated mayor, you can run into issues.
For those who don't know the responsibilities of a councilman, can you give them a brief description?
We help manage the city. That's what council do, manage the city. And we pass things, and the mayor job is to carry those things out.
Chain of command. When it comes to Brighton, how you see your responsibilities in your community?
I chair the seat of Park and Rec is what I do. I chair that seat. So anything that's dealing with the parks, that particular thing, it comes up under me.
Okay.
So I do my best to make sure that our parks are maintained and in good standing. All that follow up under me.
As we talked about late last year, I believe in December, the rapper Landlord Low was among two individuals who was gunned down outside a funeral repast at a Brighton community center. Now, I want to give my family members who watching this a little FYI. Now, we're going to have a chance to hear from Mr. McMullen, but we're going to follow up with this interview because this is an open case, and I don't want me asking anything or me trying to know more information that's been presented to the public can jeopardize his case. And at the conclusion of his case, we'll be able to ask more questions in a follow-up interview. But I'm assuming, as you said, you're dealing with all parks and community and recs. I'm assuming is that possibly why you was allegedly connected?
Yes.
So is there anything you want to speak on pertaining that situation?
Well, one thing that I can say was that when that incident took place, I got a phone call from the mayor asking that I come to the community center, that someone had been killed. And so I rushed there. When I got there, that's when I seen two deceased bodies laying on the front porch of the community center. It was chaos when I got there. So I jumped into my mode of trying to make sure that my community is safe and trying to comfort the people that was just destroyed due to the shooting and the murders that has taken place up there. So it was chaos up there.
Brighton had the youngest mayor?
At one time, yes. Brandon Dean.
He's not y'all mayor today?
No, he's not.
What's the name of the mayor?
Eddie Cooper is the mayor today.
Eddie Cooper.
Yes.
What's the report around Eddie Cooper in Brighton?
The report around town with Eddie Cooper, he's not to be trusted. Allegedly, he's not to be trusted. People are just tired. They're tired of him.
Yeah, he made headlines earlier this year in March of 2025 for allegedly profiting from illegal bingo businesses in Alabama. Did you hear anything about that?
Sure.
Public records show he earned around $60,000 annually in rent from the businesses, which represents a clear conflict of interest. Is that something that was spoken on amongst our community?
Sure, most definitely. He owned one of the buildings that that bingo is actually in, and I think he get rent off of that building about $5,000 to $6,000 a month off of that one building. It been told that he owned probably about 48 or 43 parcels in the city, and the city only owns like 36 parcels. He owned more property than the city owned.
I've read a report where in 2000, I believe this was 2018 where it say Brent Mayer house was lit up in flames?
Yeah. His childhood house that he grew up in, that he owned, that house caught a fire.
The mayor give you a call, you get there. Where do the alleged conflict of interest come in at? A release of a video? Is that the video that was circulating online?
It was the video that I gave to Channel 13. Yes, Channel 13 called me on my personal phone while I was inside of the facility. Earlier, the mayor had spoke and said that he wasn't gonna speak publicly. He wasn't gonna talk to the news about it. And I asked him why, and he said he's just not gonna do it. So probably about an hour later, my phone rang, and it was 13. And they asked me, did I mind giving a statement? And I told them I didn't mind. The chief of police wasn't there. He was somewhere else moonlight. He's never in town whenever we need it. So I talked with them and I gave them a video that everybody's seen.
Similar footage was also released on Facebook Live.
Correct.
First and foremost, you was on that news clip. Now that I look at it.
Yeah, Aaron, I spoke with Jerome McMullen, city councilor here in Brighton, and he told me it was a very emotional, maybe shocking too is the best word to describe it. I'm joined by Jerome now. And you were telling me earlier this happened during a repass. Can you just kind of tell me what you're feeling right now knowing this happened during such an already emotional time?
It's just sad that we having a repass up here, co-worker pass, and we ended up with something like this, 2 people being murdered in front of the community center. Sad.
And you were telling me too that you had actually just left before all of this happened. I mean, if you had been here, just moments later, you could have witnessed this. I mean, what does that make you feel?
Scary. Here at the community center with seniors, I had 2 older guys here, and picking them up, and we left, and I got a phone call saying that shooting took place.
And so do you have a message to the community that you serve? Anything you would like for them to know as this investigation gets underway?
Well, just stay vigilant, and we're out here looking to find the truth, and we're going to find the truth.
Is that when you gave the video up?
Yes.
So how's that conflict of interest?
I have no idea.
Do you feel like it's a motive behind it?
I do. Prior to any of this taking place, dealing with Landlord Lowe and his death, I was already on to the chief of police, looking to replace him because our police department is lacking, and so I wanted to move in another direction with the new police chief, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that I was pushing in a direction and looking for a new police chief. So when this took place and he wasn't there, I really lit in on him. And so 6 months later, that's when he filed what he filed, saying I interfered with an investigation by releasing the video.
The police chief name is Larry Woods. Earlier this month, it was reports that he kept his job during a heated meeting in Brighton. It has been speculation on what he allegedly do or don't do And we also have to keep in mind of the population down there in Brighton, which plays a huge part in these police chiefs and how they get their jobs. Is there anything you can and will speak on pertaining his job?
Well, as of right now, he's still employed with the city of Brighton. And the council has let it be known to the mayor that that we would like to go in a new direction. And so we hoping that he would adhere to what we're saying about moving in a new direction. For is looking for a new police chief. It's his job to carry out what we ask him to do. Once we vote on it, it's his job to carry that out. So it's very important that August the 26th, people need to come out and vote to get rid of Mayor Eddie Cooper. That's the only way that we see that we can get rid of Chief Larry Woods. We got to get rid of both of them.
As of now, you have 2 misdemeanors.
Yes.
How is your legal team approach to this?
Well, right now, they are looking at law, and that's where we at right now.
Has there been any laws or regulations that you believe may have been misinterpreted in your case?
I think that if I had done something wrong 6 months ago, 7 months ago, it should have been brought out then. Now you wait a month before election, and now you want to bring it out. You want to make a big deal about 2 misdemeanors.
Do you feel like this impacted your reputation as a councilman?
Sure. I tell you, a lot of people ask me, am I all right? Now, as I walk through the city, they feel what was done wasn't right. And I hope that it hadn't damaged me as a council person. But, I never know until election day. But I'm always watching out for the citizens of Brighton. That's my job. 2 people was murdered. And the only thing I was thinking about was making sure that our citizens knew that we had some people in the community running around that have killed someone. I was worried about getting that information out to the people.
Do you believe the implications of leaking such or releasing such video that apparently wasn't a problem for 6 months until now can have an effect on an ongoing investigation?
No.
What's been the reaction from your community?
Well, the reaction that I've been hearing, they're happy that I released the video. The case was solved. They caught these gentlemen within 48 hours of the release. So a lot of people know exactly who I am now. They feel that I have their back as a council person.
How do you plan to address any concerns regarding the situation?
Any concerns? What you mean?
Some people might feel like this is a part of a bigger corruption case. People may feel like you're targeted. How do you address these concerns?
Okay. Yeah. I have heard that some people feel that the mayor, I guess I might need to use the word allegedly, feel that I was a threat to him. Allegedly. A threat to him. and that's why that particular card has been played at the time that it was played.
In hindsight, do you have any regrets about your actions?
No, I'll do it again.
Has this situation changed your perspective on handling sensitive information like that as a public official?
Most certainly.
What's your next steps to moving forward from this situation?
Well, I have a health fund day that started August the 2nd in Brighton, and we're gonna be giving away school book bags. We're gonna be giving away food boxes, and we're gonna be teaching the community about how to live healthy. You know, checking on your blood pressure. We're gonna ask people in the community to donate blood. So we're gonna address mental health. So really, I want to focus on more making my community healthy.
Do you believe releasing that video to the media was in the public interest? If so, why or why not?
I released the video because I felt that the citizens in Brighton needed to know exactly what was going on and for them to pay attention around their houses and that type stuff. You know, I didn't want nobody else to get hurt out there. Obviously, these people were killers. And so now you got the police looking for them, and ain't no, you know, somebody else could have ended up hurt. So I wanted to let my community know, you know, be careful.
The first 6 months, did anybody express interest that you did the wrong thing?
No one.
Okay.
No one. Matter of fact, the city that I live in, Brighton, my police department, they never even done the investigation. It was the county. It was Jefferson County who done the investigation, the whole investigation. They didn't ask my police department to do anything, nothing. And Jefferson County, to this day, hadn't said one word to me about doing anything wrong. It was only my chief of police said I did something wrong. Even the city mayor, he never even said I did anything wrong. The cameras that caught the whole incident, I fought to get those cameras put up there. Those cameras was never there. The mayor fought me almost 4 months about putting cameras there. So I was able to get the cameras put up there. And just so happened, something was caught on the cameras. You know, prior to that, about 5 years ago, a murder took place up there again. You know, but they didn't have any cameras, so they couldn't see nothing. To this day, that's a crime that never been solved.
So your police department didn't solve this case?
No.
Yet it's still there charging you with tampering with evidence?
Yes.
How was the process with booking a repast in the community center?
You said, what's the process?
Yes.
Oh, just going down to City Hall and you know, paying your $300 or $400 for a repast.
Knowing you have to fight and walk there every day, knowing what you up against is crazy. And I'm sending love and prayers your way, man, especially knowing the details behind everything. If it's any way somebody from the audience would like to reach out, give you some support, is there any way you can give them any information to do that?
They can call me.
Okay.
Oh, 205-368-6366.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. There you have it. Hey, Mr. McMullen, I appreciate you taking your time to chop it up with us.
Yes, sir.
Nothing but love and blessings your way, man. And thank you for reaching out, and I look forward to the follow-up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have a good one.
Have a nice one, man.
You too.
As we head out of here, we do want to thank the city councilman once again for taking his time to talk to the family TV. As mentioned, we'll do a follow-up interview for part 2. But there you have it, fam. This was the story of a local councilman in Brighton, Alabama, who got arrested for tampering with evidence 6 months later in a double murder involving a local rapper and a man who was gunned down by his nephew. Let me know how you feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.